Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. I've lived through many moments in which XRP price action tortures people, and it can go on for what feels like eternity, but then it breaks to the upside, inevitably, of course. And invariably, it happens at a moment in time when things seem bleak and impossible. At least it seems impossible to the typical lemming retail speculator. And we are in one of those torturous moments right this very second. And again, I've lived through many similar situations before, having been in crypto now over 6 years. And you know what? I'm going to personally experience a moment where XRP rockets in price to the upside. And it may feel impossible to some of you at this moment, but I'm telling you right now that I, personally, am going to see XRP increase dramatically in price. And you will see it too if you stick around long enough. It's up to you, of course. That is what my conviction is. I believe that this whole asset class gets bigger. XRP is a part of it. It's going along for the ride, and the market has made it very clear for over a decade that XRP deserves to be in the top 10 coins by market cap. That's not an accident. So when things do go, it's going to be a lot of fun. And I get the sentiment. That's why I want to start the video by talking about it. I get the sentiment before it happens. I know how it feels to people. But I don't feel that way. I've seen too much. I've seen this movie too many times. And so I'm going to share with you perspective about what is to come from a number of analysts, including multiple XRP chart analysts. One who says that XRP is imitating the 2021 move. Now, I know in 2021 we didn't see a new all-time high for XRP. But in terms of, like, if you take that move in terms of what the chart looks like, and considering where the starting point is now, which is not looking too bad comparatively, that's why there's an opportunity for us to get to XRP, well above $1. I mean, $1 when this thing has its first jump, that hopefully would just be to start the thing off. XRP, it is the case that it lags behind the market. It always has historically, but when it goes, it goes. But before going further, I do want to be clear. I do not have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice, and you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. As I record this video, it is currently 3:33 a.m. Central Time, and it's it's Friday now, right? Friday, April 26, 2024. Man, can you believe that we're almost a complete fourth of the way through the year already? Man. But you know what? The later part of the year, it seems clear at this point, that's going to be where the most bit of fun. It's been a real fun 2024. Despite the pullbacks that scare most people, it's been a really fun 2024, but I'm telling you, the best is yet ahead. Now, at the time I record this, XRP is 52.5 cents. Bitcoin's at 64,427 bucks. And look, the market's just been ranging in recent weeks. Ask various chart analysts what the range is that it is ranging within, even though they'll all agree it's ranging. You'll get slightly different answers, but suffice it to say, it'd be reasonable to say roughly, for Bitcoin, roughly between $60,000 to $70,000. It's not going to stay there. It's definitely not going to stay there. I don't believe it makes sense to believe that the bull run is over. I don't really see people even calling for that. But it's more so a question of when's this thing going to break to the upside? Because Bitcoin can keep moving to the upside in terms of market dominance. That's going to be decreasing at some point, and that's when you see the most fun for altcoins here. We also have the Crypto Fear and Greed Index at 70 out of 100, so market is still in greed currently, though not extreme greed. Here's a post from chart analyst Blunts. This is just a Bitcoin USD chart, and he wrote, "I'm still very much taking a risk-on perspective and still thinking new all-time high in the next 1 to 2 weeks." And he's noting over this on this chart that we were just coming out of a situation that looks very similar. It's all moved to the upside before that. So, I mean, we'll see what happens. But he's on record with what his expectation is, and it's bold to make such an assertion, to share such an opinion, especially when you're a chart guy, because when you're not right, people jump down your throat. That's one of the reasons I'm very glad I'm not a chart guy. On top of the fact that I find the act of engaging in charting very boring, which is why I don't personally want to do it, even though I appreciate the chart analysts out there. So he's saying 1 to 2 weeks, so we may not have to wait much longer. And also, the couple of the founders over at Glassnode, on-chain analytics firm, they seem to be thinking that what's most probable is we're going to be seeing a move to the upside. And this matters. Even if you don't care about Bitcoin and you only care about XRP, you should care about what directionally Bitcoin does in terms of price action because it leads the market. And here's a headline from the Daily Hodl. Bitcoin to surge, ? Which is why my inflection goes up like this. Glassnode co-founders say indicator that tipped off January rally flashing bullish signal. Excellent. The founders of the analytics platform Glassnode say one key indicator is suddenly flashing bullish again for Bitcoin. Glassnode co-founders Jan Happel and Jan Alleman, who share the Nigentropic handle on the social media platform X, say an indicator that predicted Bitcoin's massive rally to kick off the year may now be signaling another big move to the upside is imminent. And here's a quote. MACD, the moving average convergence divergence, a crossover sets Bitcoin up for the next strong move higher. In January 2024, Bitcoin put in a low. It rallied out of a descending wedge, and MACD gave us bullish crossover. On April 19th, 2024, Bitcoin put another low in after declining in descending wedge. Now we have a bullish crossover on MACD. We will see a strong rally unfold again, ? So they seem to be thinking there's a good probability of that. That's the end of the quote. And then they write here, the MACD is a technical indicator that gauges the momentum of a trend. Looking at the analyst's chart, they also suggest that Bitcoin is printing a bullish bull flag pattern, which indicates Bitcoin is likely heading higher. Wouldn't mind that. I mean, I'm having fun in crypto, whether it's rain or shine, whether we're in a bear market or a bull market, but obviously the bull part's a lot more fun. So hopefully we get back to it sooner than later. Here's a post from chart analyst Matthew Hyland talking about Bitcoin, but he's talking about Bollinger Bands. So he says Bitcoin 3-day Bollinger Bands, and he shared this chart that's on your screen. And since in recent days, I've been highlighting, as well as many other people in the XRP community, XRP and the current Bollinger Band situation. And I'll pull up that chart in a second in case you haven't seen it, but I just wanted to highlight that, like, this is something that's just the case in general. And so I understand that Bollinger Bands are not a primary indicator of whether we're going to see a burst to the upside or the downside. It's something that is, I guess, of importance to a second degree. But when you look at the data in conjunction with other metrics, that can help you draw a conclusion about the degree to which we may be close to something happening. Because as Bollinger Bands tighten, what they do tell you invariably is that you are about to see a big move. And that's relative, but a big move to the upside or the downside. So that in and of itself, that's why it's to the importance of a second degree. It doesn't tell you if it's going up or down, but it tells you something's about to happen. Just because of the nature of markets. It's not unique to XRP or Bitcoin or crypto or equities. It's just, it is what it is. Thanks to human nature, because humans keep behaving in the same way in various circumstances, more or less. And that's why there's crossover from not just asset to asset, but from asset class to asset class. You just look on charts and you can see this stuff. And so you just kind of got to ask yourself, with the situation that we're in right now, what's most likely to occur? And so you can see this chart. He said, so it goes back to, probably it looks like the end of August of last year here. And here you can see the bands tightening, and you happen to see a move to the downside actually for Bitcoin. And Bitcoin had been trending down for months at that point, so I guess that's not too terribly surprising, but eventually bottoms are formed, right? And so here the bands tighten again. What do you know? Move to the upside for Bitcoin. And then here we are in 2024, bands tightened again, and you got this big move for Bitcoin. And now we're at this point where the bands are tightening yet again. So it doesn't mean it's going to happen today, tomorrow, or literally next week, but you can see it doesn't take long, relatively speaking, for this stuff to play out. Now, you can consider the same metric for XRP over a longer time period. Here's an XRP USD price chart going back to 2014. And you can see that there have been moments in history where these Bollinger Bands tighten. And I've been sharing this exact chart from ChartingGuy. I've shared it a number of times in recent days just to highlight the point that this is where we are. This is what's been happening. And yes, this is over a longer time frame. But you can't have the Bollinger Bands, like it'd be unreasonable to expect the Bollinger Bands just get tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter. And right now they're the tightest in history. And then to think that we're not going to see an explosive move. No, we're going to see an explosive move. So think about that. See, this is why I was saying what I was saying at the outset of the video. We're going to see an explosive move. And fine, technically it could be to the downside. My conviction, it's to the upside, unless there's some sort of black swan event. So technically nobody knows for sure what's going to happen with XRP price. Of course, I admit that, but we're in a bull market. Things have been trending up. The price of XRP has been trending up for about 2 years now. Put in the low at 28 cents in June of 2022. It's almost 2 years later, son. We've been trending up, higher lows along the way. The tightest we've ever seen Bollinger Bands in the history of XRP. We know this means explosive move. I just showed you what it looked like more recently with Bitcoin over a shorter time frame. What do you think is probable? So people can keep bitching up a storm all they want, but man, the fireworks, they are a-coming, son. Here's a post from Mikey Bull Crypto. This is the crypto total market cap excluding Bitcoin and ETH. And he posted this, looks like about, it was in the morning yesterday. And he wrote the following. This seems a perfect area to build a position on alts as it consolidates before breakout. A rising wedge coupled with an RSI bearish divergence on the weekly chart has confirmed Bitcoin's dominance peak level. Yeah, so Bitcoin can keep going up in price and its dominance will decrease if altcoins are outperforming it, which historically is what happens, of course. So as far as this being a great time to accumulate alts, that's subjective. You decide for yourself if that makes sense. I certainly can't tell you what's right for you, and I would never want to. Obviously, the best time to have accumulated would have been where I'm circling right here on the chart. Call it 2022 and part of 2023. This was the whole accumulation range. And by the way, that whole accumulation range, you can see how it's low, so it looks like a safe place to buy. I'm telling you, if you were here at the time, and most of you were probably, it scared the hell out of all sorts of people. That's extreme volatility. It just doesn't, once you zoom out though, and you can see the positive stuff that happens afterward, it doesn't look like it, it doesn't feel like it. But that was the best time to buy. So now that we've had a little bit of a pullback here, and there's strong expectation and it's high probability that we're going to continue to see a move to the upside for Bitcoin and the entire crypto asset class, for people that want to accumulate alts, I'm sure many will decide that this is a great moment in time to do that, since there has been a bit of a pullback to this point. But prices won't stay here forever. Eventually, they're going to rocket to the upside. And then inevitably, there's going to be a major correction to the downside. It's the cyclical nature of things. But that is what's coming, and XRP is going to be a part of it. Here's a post from ChartingGuy, and he said, he was in response to somebody named Jiro who wrote, usually alt seasons also mark the end, or at least the end is very near when we get an alt season. And that can be the case. There can be more than one alt season in a market cycle. But yeah, eventually once you see alts go ballistic, that can that can mean that the end is near. That's true. And so ChartingGuy agrees, and he said, yes, they typically mark a significant top when they're done. Last time it lasted roughly December 2020 to April 2021, and April 2021 was a very important top. Some say the true top of the market, and a lot of alts never got that high again. It's typically the top of the third wave, then we get a decent wave 4 correction, then the final fifth wave being the final top, which was in November of 2021. This time, I'm looking for alt season to last from May through August, roughly, with a fall dip being our wave 4, and then a final leg up, wave 5, being November through February. So we're talking about, for alt season, a major move starting we're almost in May, mind you. So May through August, and so it will be that quick. It'll be a fun few months when things start popping off. Major correction, and then he's thinking that latest this is going to go to any degree would be February of next year, but there's a possibility that it could be it ending sooner than that. And nobody knows what's going to happen, including me, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see the top this year rather than next year. That would not surprise me in the least. Here is a post from Chart Analyst Cryptos, and he said, update important XRP levels. What happened? Price bounced and retested all the important weekly levels and indicators that I mentioned. And so for the sake of time, I won't pull up his previous post where he cited what those were, but I want to share the rest of what he had to say. He said, I said to keep a close eye on the red box 54 cent area. Not surprised to see we got rejected there, so nothing to freak out about. We topped exactly at the weekly 21 MA. When bull, question mark? Flip bullish when weekly closes above 60 cents. So that's his perspective. Once we close on the weekly above 60, then it's on. Here's a post from chart analyst E. Greg Crypto, XRP USD chart, and he wrote the following: XRP imitating 2021 move. And for those of you that can look, it's worth looking at the screen because he's describing different sections of a chart that he marked off in color, a blue section and a yellow section, and he writes the following. Blue section: the current trajectory suggests a possible reach of $1.40 by June through to July, a key target. The price range would be between $1.20 and $1.80, is a plausible target. And so that, of course, doesn't seem crazy to me. If you're just looking at chart formations, even though you can't know for sure when something's going to pop off, makes sense to have a broad range. I only really get nervous when any analyst gets really precise about or sets a specific deadline for something. I'm like, But if you're just like, like for analysts that are like, well, I don't know when it's going to happen, but based on what has happened in the past and how chart formations typically play out, maybe it's going to be within this range, maybe. Then I'm like, okay, that's fair. I just get a little nervous for analysts when they're like, it will happen by this date. I'm like, oh. Because even if you're a good chart analyst and you are right about the chart formation that you're seeing, that can take longer or shorter to play out than it has in the past. So it just is what it is. And so anyway, though, so yeah, the idea of it, though, what he's saying here makes sense to me, and I think it's totally fair. $1.40, or if he has a range of $1.20 to $1.80, and somewhere around that time frame. Well, yeah, I mean, if the market's going to be popping off, XRP is going to participate, and in previous cycles, it has had at least 2 major pumps to the upside before completing. So wouldn't be surprised for that to be the case here. And then he says a yellow section. Aiming for $4 is feasible if we follow a similar path to 2021. Additionally, the blue trend line aligns with a yellowish fractal, supporting the likelihood of this scenario. XRP Army stays steady while the long-term targets remain viable. This post focuses on emulating the 2021 move. Yeah, well, we'll see what happens. Sounds reasonable to me. And frankly, like those, all the price levels cited there, hopefully that would be just to get the party started, because that's pretty conservative, right? I think he probably thinks that's conservative too, honestly. But nothing goes up in a straight line all at once. Like, you don't just have it go straight up and that's the top and everything's over. There's ups and downs along the way, but yeah, man, I would love to know where this thing's going to pop off. My conviction, and it's just basically just another word for what I suppose is likely to happen. It's my suspicion. This is just new all-time high in price discovery. I don't know what that's going to mean. I don't pretend to. I'm not a chart guy. But number go up. I mean, that's really been my bet from 2017 when I jumped into crypto, though. It's just like the whole pie gets bigger and then XRP moves with it because it makes sense for it to continue to exist. That's pretty much it. It's not really, you don't have to get overly complex to be an investor in crypto. Same with equities. You don't have to be some sort of a genius in looking into every individual company out there and choosing which ones it makes sense to invest in. You can just get broad exposure by purchasing an ETF that tracks the S&P 500. You can do all this. You don't have to be a genius. All you have to do is, you can be an idiot, honestly. You can just buy stuff and then not do anything. It's just really difficult for people to not do anything because of the volatile nature of investing, and that doubly or triply applies for crypto, which is the most volatile asset class on the planet. But if you can wrap your heads around that and you can actually control yourself emotionally with the volatility, that's the most empowering thing about this whole experience is the everyday person, people like me. I'm just a regular dude. People like you. We're regular people. We can achieve life-changing wealth. It's absolutely true. And I know that I haven't cashed out to United States dollars, but I'm still like, I don't want to say how much I have, but I'm a testament to this as well. Like the multiple that I've got on compared to what I put in, considering that I jumped in 2017, it's because I've been here this long. Like literally just doing nothing. That is the trick. This is why I have no course. I have nothing to sell you. I'm just a dude on the internet that's excited about this stuff because it really works. And I know you guys to some degree must feel like me. Like, you found something that most of the world doesn't know about. Well, that's true. So kudos to you for being here way ahead of the masses. Something like 5% of humans have ever held crypto at any point in time. Yeah. I'd say we're good to go. All we have to do is have broad exposure to the asset class, and then do nothing. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.